Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. Welcome to the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. This show is brought to you by tokenmetrics.com. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. If you've been listening to the wrong people, subscribe to this channel so you can listen to the right people. And of course, if you like the content, please feel free and drop a like. All right. Let's see who's on the stream today. We have Crypto Lion from Arkansas. Welcome. Bull Runner 76, a regular. Hi. Jules from Koreatown. Georgia's here. Corona, California. All right. Let's go, Bill. I appreciate that. John Smith, GF. Yasir from Poland. Hi. All right. We have England is here up late. Somebody is at the PGA Championship in Oklahoma. All right. Indeed Nap from Kentucky, along with Lawn Shark, a regular from Tennessee. All right. Lisa's here from Alabama, Roll Tide. All right. Anthony's here from Georgia. Right. Bulldog Country. Toronto is in the house. London, Croatia is here. Toronto, Peru, Denmark, India, up at God knows what hour. All right, so why is everybody from Cincinnati to Boston? Ben, welcome. Crypto Funds is here. All right. Yo-Yo from Idaho, Florida. Calabasas, California. What's everyone doing here today? Well, they're here for the market update, right? And of course, I did it again. I looked at this thing this morning and I'm like, this is not going to move much today. You know, maybe I could take a day off. Oh, God. Right. And then I look at my phone again and I turn my back on the bear. So I am here today to help you guys. I want to emphasize help you guys, but I do want to have a little bit of fun. So let's share the screen and get into your market update. Okay. Now we kind of have two titles, right? I do recommend the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator movie because it has two good lines in it, right? One of their trackers that's trying to find this invisible monster, he says, there's something out there and it ain't no man. That means the monster is out there and we can't see it. And that applies to today's market. So if you don't know why this market's going down, you have company. No one does. And that's why it's going down, because no one knows why, even though we know the monster's out there. And then, of course, there's the subtitle, which is FUD you. All right. Now, not you, but it appears in the YouTube comments that I am officially the #1 FUD channel in all of YouTube. Right. So everybody is accusing me of being a FUD monster. I'm not a FUD monster. I'm trying to get you out of the way, right? I'm trying to keep you away from the predator, or as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, get to the chopper, right? Get to the chopper. I was talking to somebody yesterday and I kind of explained what I'm about to explain to you. And he goes, hey, I really like that analysis. And then he goes, does that mean I should sell? And I'm like, oh my God. I just got to keep on keeping on, people. So if I'm the FUD champ of YouTube, then I guess I'm the FUD champ of YouTube. Okay. Tether, right? Don't worry. Everything is all right. We heard this throughout 2008, all the way up to a popular TV show host defending Lehman Brothers right before it blew up. Okay. Don't worry. Everything's fine with Tether. This is a Fibonacci circle analysis with Tether market cap. Too bad I didn't see this a while back. Pretty interesting that I could draw this off a major low in July of 2021 to the Bitcoin high in November of last year. Okay, more Tether FUD. Tether dominance is right at 6%. So obviously, total crypto market cap is going to go down. But if Tether starts slipping, please be careful of this. There's got to be a better stable coin than Tether. I've never been a big believer in Tether FUD until I start to see everybody putting out stuff that says, oh, here's our balance sheet holdings and here's our commercial paper. Don't worry, everything's okay. Really? Oh, okay. Really? Mm-hmm. We've heard all this before. 2008, 1987, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Jim Bianco, a bond market strategist, a guy who helped me want to get my first job as an analyst, says, when you want to get rid of Tether, you deposit it in a liquidity pool and then you take out DAI. So everybody's been putting Tether into Curve so they can take out DAI, right? Now, why would they be doing that? Well, gee, I don't know. Why would they be doing that? According to Tether, this was published via Zero Hedge yesterday. Everything's fine, right? We bought some treasury bills and we have a really good credit rating on all our paper that we have, all of our debt instruments that, back up our stable coin. Well, folks, you don't realize this, but back in 2008, the market would vaporize and then the credit ratings will adjust. The credit ratings don't adjust before the assets vaporize. They do so afterwards. So when everybody's publishing everything is okay, you run. You run. Okay, speaking of running, okay, I have to admit, I'm a fanboy. Mike Novogratz sporting the purple blazer and the gold chain at Bitcoin Miami 2021. But wait a minute. I'm looking at my screen here. Is it me or does Mike look like he's driving Uber? I don't think Mike needs to drive Uber, but that definitely looks like an ID, right? The corporate ID for someone driving Uber. What happened to the velvet purple jacket or the suede purple jacket? Well, it's probably because Galaxy broke down, right? It broke support at 10 and there's no support until 2. And I had to get really creative in order to draw the support at $2.50. Now, Mike put out a mid-quarterly earnings report, but then they put out a second letter, right? Now, Mike says, this is why Tether collapsed. This is why, UST collapsed. Sorry about the tattoo. It'll be a reminder of humility. But I'm like, did they really need to put out a press release about the tattoo? Who would tell Mike to do that? Well, probably, I'm guessing, compliance and legal, right? Because something happened, and either something happened with Galaxy or something maybe happened with one of Galaxy's like big customers or counterparties, because there are other crypto people that are a part of the big hedge fund wedge. Okay. So Mike's Uber picture plus, additional communications that everything is all right. If you have to tell me everything is all right more than once, it's not all right. I'm sorry. Now, MicroStrategy, as if it could get any worse. Okay. I just hit my email right before I got on the air. MicroStrategy are our friends who they got levered Bitcoin, and then they went out and got a loan against their physical Bitcoin so they could support their levered Bitcoin position. So they borrowed money against Bitcoin to add or defend a position of Bitcoin. Levered. Fascinating, as Mr. Spock would say. Okay. At this time, we do not have any intention to sell. Okay. That's cool. You want to hodl. But here's the bad part. There are no scenarios that I'm aware of in which we would sell. So it can't possibly happen, right? It'll never happen. Nothing bad is going to happen. I'm not aware of any scenarios. Let me help all y'all out. Okay. Tokenmetrics.com. We should mail these guys a free subscription. Okay. We have this new thing called the percentage of coins above the 60-day exponential moving average. You're like, what's that? Well, that's coins, the percentage of coins we cover that are holding up. This is not the fear greed index. Okay. This means 4% of coins we cover are above a certain moving average. Now you're like, well, Bill, that means this must be really oversold. Everything really is okay. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. The biggest crashes in history occur when markets are deeply oversold. So they go down, they get oversold, but they don't really bounce much. They just sit down there. As long as this needle acts like a gorilla sitting on top of it near zero, this market has problems. Because you know what, folks? This is the second time, right? I have tried to have a normal day off, go to the forget about it, right? Every time I do this, I turn my back on the bear, and what happens? I'm breaking my own rule. So here we are in the market update trying to help you, but tokenmetrics.com has got this is the gauge. This is like the oh my God meter. The longer the oh my God meter stays in oh my God territory, the market has a serious problem. Now, we have a new gizmo, which actually aggregates a lot of our information. Some of it's AI, some of it's quant, right? And we give you a grade, right? We give you like a very red, very green type of signal. So I see Ethereum is like all the way red on the left, and Bitcoin is still not all the way red. So, of course, Bitcoin is holding up okay because everyone thinks they're safe in Bitcoin because there are no scenarios in which we can imagine selling. Oh, so you mean this has room to go lower and the people who own it don't think they have to sell? Now, putting down my smart ass hat for a second, okay? When big down moves start, okay, like big ones. So big down moves, the motto at Wall Street with portfolio managers is don't sell what you want to, sell what you can. Sell what you can get liquidity on. Because once things get going, whether it's today or Monday or after Labor Day, you got to sell what you can. And when it all comes down to it, the thing that they'll be able to sell is S&P futures and Bitcoin. So even though Bitcoin looks kind of oversold, it's not as oversold as Ethereum. So they may go after that thing, and they may go after it hard. Now, to increase the cheery news, all right, this appeared yesterday, and I did my own work, that the stock market looks a lot like it did in 2008, right before Lehman happened. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe you got until the U.S. Memorial Day holiday for this to start. And it feels like they want to do it now. Because I have no idea how stocks wound up down 1% from this morning when nobody even knows why it's down. I do. There's something out there. And it ain't no man. There's something out there because you keep getting all these emails and letters and magazine articles from everybody telling you that everything is okay. It's okay to go back in the water. From Jaws 1977, it's fine. We're going to open the beach. The shark's really not there, right? Right? Yikes. VIX, fear in equities. So, believe it or not, equities fear has actually been higher. It's been higher lately, right? Everyone is like, okay, there's no problem. When everyone says there's a problem, then you can stop worrying. But when people say there's no problem, that's when you worry. When you got S&P going down 1% and no one knows why. No one knows. Because somebody has lost money in something, right? And it's not being fully reflected in the fear gauge yet. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is nothing to be afraid of. Maybe today is just a quiet summer down day. Or you're going to wake up Monday and find out what the problem is. Or you're going to find out what the problem is after Memorial Day, which is worse. Because that's 5 or 6 more days of uncertainty. See, that's what I'm trying to drive home. If you got a portfolio and you think you don't have to move it around, or you're just depressed. Maybe you're depressed and you don't care if it goes down. I understand that. And I understand this news I'm giving you is not exactly cheery stuff, right? But I would rather have somebody call me a FUD master than have the Predator get you. Because if you watch the Predator movie, right, it doesn't turn out good for most of the characters. Now, coming back to technical analysis, ETH at 1950 is now both a Gann level, okay, and a hidden pivot level. So in Gann work that's over there on my Twitter, I've been talking about 1950 as the level. That level, if hit, could trigger a down move. Now, so far, it hasn't. Every time it gets to 1950, it stops. Now, this time, if it can't get back above 1950, there's additional chart work that shows there's a risk to 1838, which really doesn't sound that bad until you look at the DeMark work for ETH, right? So the DeMark work had a big wave 3 down. That's kind of the big downtrend, or one of the big downtrend. And then it had this really quiet, dead cattish bounce up to 2K. And then all of a sudden today, boom, it's going lower. Now, if you look at the DeMark work, right, it went 1 through 9. That can be the first part of a trend. Then it bounced. That's right over here. All right. And then this is a 4-hour chart. So when you have 1 through 9, that's called setup, right? It's a certain set of conditions counted 9 times. Like, I don't know, the low is higher than the low 2 days ago, something like that, right? If once you count that 9 times, if you're in a trend, you get a bounce and then you get 13 more bars down. So if you have 13 more 4-hour bars, that's a 2-day dump. Okay. Now, in the event that this gets totally stupid, right? In other words, if the thing I think that's going to happen after Memorial Day happens now, or if you just want to talk worst case scenario numbers, it's ETH below 1,000. I won't say the number. It's actually on the screen, but you know, things can get out of hand, right? Because people think they're safe in Bitcoin and ETH. Now, I know they're talking about doing a merge. I know that's going to reduce supply. I get it. That's going to eventually make ETH a buy. In market history, I have found that right before there's an absolute compelling reason to own something, like Amazon in 2003 or Google on their IPO, I believe was 2004, right before there's a compelling reason to own it, it gets destroyed. And you're like, Bill, that's pretty sick. I'm like, yeah, that is sick. That's frequently what happens. And it's forced selling on top of that. So while I'm trying to make a half a joke about something going on with either hedge funds or counterparties or people who have loaned or borrowed money against crypto, a lot of this selling that can occur is forced selling, right? Don't sell what you want to, sell what you can, right? This is an important mindset that's what the big players are doing. Remember everybody celebrating 2 years ago? Oh, the institutions are coming. Thank God crypto's going to the moon. And it did. But there's a downside of that. These guys manage portfolios and they're trying to save their job. And they will hit any bid they can to save their job if it gets ugly. It may not be today. It may be in a week. But if they're going to do one of these weekend blowouts, or they're going to do it the Monday night of Memorial Day in the US, the time to adjust positions is now or on any green days. Now, you're like, all right, Bill, that's a little extreme for Friday night. What's up with that? It's like, well, if you look at the Binance chart of Bitcoin versus Tether, you're going to notice this is clearly probably going to wind up being the 8th consecutive down week, right? Unless there's a miracle turnaround. So if you have a weekly close, if you're watching this over the weekend, and, you know, Bitcoin closes below 31K, that's 8 consecutive down weeks. Now, why is that important? Well, that's important because in 1929, the market went down 8 consecutive weeks, and then the crash started. Let me say that again. In 1929, the market went down 8 weeks in a row, and then the crash happened, right? Which basically was a giant system-wide margin call in which everybody who was long was forced to sell. Sound like anything I've been talking about? Everyone's like, oh, it's crypto winter. No, it's not. It's a crash. It's a good old-fashioned margin call enema for the crypto ecosystem. Okay, let's talk Bitcoin Elliott wave. So 28,500 is a key support level. If that holds, well, maybe you got a week. Maybe you got two. But if that level doesn't hold, you could be looking at something extreme. You could be looking at 20 or 18. Right now, our scenario would be, Bitcoin started at 40 and went down. That's wave one. Then it bounced. That's wave two. Right? Then there could be kind of a more extreme move, like down to 18. Then there could be a huge short squeeze back up to 26. And then, only our higher power knows what happens if it turns back down again. We got this scenario from 2014. Back in 2014, you had, 6, 7 down weeks, all kind of consecutively, right? So I superimpose that. The blue and green is today, right? The blue and red is today. I'm sorry. The green and red is today. The blue is from 2014. So this particular analog shows you may have something to do right around Memorial Day, where it'll flush out to like 14, come screaming back to where it is now, and then it'll go down into July 4th and eventually Rectember. Okay, I'm thinking you're going to have Rectember and Rocktober this year. I know that's not fun, but if you get yourself a Token Metrics subscription, right, you can start looking for the small coins that our AI is picking up on, even if the market's going down. We actually did find one today to look at. So stay tuned for that in Altcoin Overtime. All right. Total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. So right now it's like 600 billion. This is obviously ETH driven, and there's really nobody home. It's like it's 676 and there's nobody home until 476. And next week, just organically, it's going to break out of one of these fib circle formations, which could spell more trouble around the Memorial Day holiday. So yes, I know it's easy to get all bearish when it's down. Okay. But when you see green days like we had 2 days ago or yesterday, that's the time to make a move, right? And you'll be, frankly, since there's the monsters out there, and the equity market is telling you that because they're selling everything liquid. Total crypto market cap without Bitcoin could go down another $200 billion. Okay. Here's ETH weekly. Okay. Again, this is a fib circle analysis showing that this week was the breakout of this fib circle formation. Okay. Bitcoin, there are levels at 20 and there are levels at 10. Now, they're like, Bill, I can't take it anymore. I'm like, all right, I know. But let me just try to explain this. So let's talk about ARK, ARKK, the altcoins of the stock market. Hot companies with great ideas and no earnings yet because they're still building. So they're borrowing and building, but they don't have any earnings left. And when the Fed printed, it went up, and then it went all the way back down to where the COVID pandemic started. So just to keep it real, ARK, ARKK, up here in the top right, was 113 in July of last year, and now it's at 41. So it's 176% below where it was in July of last year because it's gotten hammered. Okay, so ETH in July of last year was at 1,800. So where would ETH have to be, leaping over to the right, to be 176 or 178% below where it is right now? So what would happen if Web3 joined Web2? Where would ETH have to be? That number is 650. MicroStrategy, the guys who are never selling Bitcoin, in July of last year, MicroStrategy was at 492. Right now, MicroStrategy is 196, down 150%. And if Bitcoin joined it there, Bitcoin was at like 29,000 in July. So if Bitcoin followed MicroStrategy, it would be at 12. So either the altcoins of the stock market have to go up, or MicroStrategy is going to get a big loan and they're going to be okay, which would mean their stock would go up and Bitcoin would be okay. Right? But if it's not okay, if it's not safe to go back in the water, and there's something out there and it ain't no man, and you should get to the chopper, you look at this price action and you go, I should do something. I should look at my 401k. Maybe I got 1 week. Maybe I got 2. Maybe you got 3. Maybe you got out until consensus starts, right? Consensus is like June 7th, right? So nobody wants to adjust risk on an up day, even though that's when you should. Normally I get everybody's attention, even though I get accused of being a FUD guy. I'm not a FUD guy. I'm trying to help you, right? And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Okay, dollar index, just covering macro for a brief moment. The dollar goes down and everyone says, oh, you know, it's a recession in the US. The dollar's topping. It's good for crypto. And if the dollar did top, it would be. It would be awesome for crypto. Except the dollar always does this. In the currency market, they always take things farther. They always run stops. So they go down below 103.10, a technical point. Everyone says the dollar has topped. I go, okay, bro. And then it turns around and moves higher. Did we lose camera?
Yeah, looks like the camera might have froze there. Oh, and you're back.
I'm back. Okay, hi everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're back on screen. So we're having an okay bro moment in the dollar. If 103.10 acts as support, it could go to 106. Keep an eye on this level. It matters because why? Because when everyone runs to the dollar, everyone is upset. Speaking of running, how funny is it that in an inflation environment where gasoline prices are now higher than where they were during the apocalypse movie I Am Legend, long bond futures, right, are rising. Why do bonds go up? Well, either because people think interest rates are going lower, or because they're afraid of the monster that's out there. Bond markets are very sensitive, right? So are foreign exchange markets. If they think something's out there, they're going to buy bonds. And wouldn't that be a contrarian funny in legacy? Oil, okay? If Mr. Putin was ever going to pull a stunt over a weekend, he's either going to do it this weekend or send us a present for Memorial Day. If oil is above 109.50, there's risk of 125 or 162. I've talked about this. I try not to make too big of a deal about it because I know crypto investors are suffering and so is the common man. I get it. I get it. But you have to be careful because mathematically, if oil goes up, that usually means Bitcoin goes down. So be careful of the dollar and be careful of oil. Now, speaking of a fear trade, the gold to Bitcoin ratio looks like it wants to go up, right? So if interest rates stop rising or bonds go up, that can be good for gold, right? Gold usually gets hammered when interest rates rise. But if the bond market goes, oh, wait a minute, I know rates may go up, but we want these bonds, and that can help gold. And it looks like gold has a good chance of going up a lot more than Bitcoin. So it looks like we could have gold up, Bitcoin down. I know there's this mega annoying guy on Twitter, Peter Schiff. It's just insufferable. But the fact of the matter is, if you've got to protect a crypto portfolio, now may be the time to look at gold, because look at the gold over Bitcoin chart, long term, right? This little head and shoulders bottom doesn't look like anything. So, I mean, this thing looks like Bitcoin's going to go to 15K, and so is gold. All right. So beware of that. And that is your Friday market update. All right. Let's see if anyone is still here. right? Driftless says Pax G, possibly, yes, right? I can't give investment advice about particular instruments, but, yes, if you have to hedge, right? Okay. So much news we're not hearing about Russian oil. That's right. Okay. Okay. Somebody says anybody crying FUD provides bids to hit. Okay. This is a good point, right? A lot of hedge funds, a lot of guys on YouTube are going, all right, the worst case scenario is 2021 or 2022 for Bitcoin. That's the 200-week moving average. I don't show it for a reason, because retail in mass is going to come in and show their bids and they're like, hey, here I am. And the big guys are going to go boom, 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 boom. Thank you very much. I have to hedge or GTFO or I'm going to lose my job. Okay. We'll come in and buy it much later. Okay. Now, I understand if you want to buy on support, DCA is fine, but, don't be a sheep that gets led to the wolves if you start to see this thing accelerate. Now you're like, how do I know if it's accelerating? Well, you like and subscribe this channel. Okay. Crypto Crazy is here. Okay. SCon wants me to take a look at Solana. Right. Somebody says, ETH 1800 or lower, ETH at 900. I buy like a crazy person. Okay. I get that. Okay. There's no better buy than when there's forced selling. Okay. When there's forced selling, we got people asking for Matic, AVAX, Phantom, right? Okay. Somebody says just use Instacart, Bill, and don't leave the computer. No joke, man. One day it's going to come to that. One day, I swear, if this is what I think it is, one day we're just going to be live all day, right? And we'll just play a commercial for Token Metrics during the breaks. Okay. Now, somebody's also asking for Aave. Okay, so let's go. Let's do the market update within the market update, see where this thing is. So we want to welcome everybody who comes for the request portion of the show, right? And then we'll stretch into altcoin overtime in a minute. As a matter of fact, let's stretch into altcoin overtime right now because that helps us see. That helps us see what's going on Token Metrics. So believe it or not, with all this downside, there actually is one coin. It's NRG, okay, that's actually showing a pop in the Token Metrics grade. So energy is actually showing that it's close to being a buy, right? And this little gap higher is interesting. So obviously our AI sees this pop higher, right, and is interested in it. And that's cool. I understand that. Okay. But if we go over here, right, and we take a look at the Token Metrics grade, the Token Metrics grade is rising and price has just started to rise. So obviously, if the entire market gets wrecked, all right, that wouldn't be good for NRG. So if the entire market gets wrecked, right, it's bad for NRG. But somewhere in this system, somewhere, okay, is a low market cap coin that's going to be huge 5 years from now. And the compelling reason to have Token Metrics in a bear market is because now is the time to do micro cap and small cap research. Just a point of reminder that Cardano, Synthetics, and Chainlink all wound up at zero in the last bear market. Okay. And then they rose out of the ashes. This time, what may rise out of the ashes either hasn't been invented yet, or maybe some small cap project that's just lost in the shuffle, except our AI can help you find it. All right. So let's move. That was altcoin overtime. Now let's go to like the request portion. Okay. We just try to take a look at where the market is, what's happening. Okay. So MicroStrategy is now down 10%, but ETH has bounced. Okay. ETH bounced and is now hovering near that 1950 level. Okay. Let's go over here to the DeMark charts and see what we got. So the good news is Bitcoin has not fallen below 28,500. So one of the things that you may be seeing here is this panic hedging, right? It's like everyone hedges and sells, right? Sell what you can. And then when that stops, the market can sometimes float up. That's why it's like, it looks like it's going to zero and then it comes back. And this may go on, right, until Memorial Day, right? It may go on until Memorial Day, but that's not a reason to be complacent right now. Okay, ETH is the same thing, right? Here's that 9 bottom, right? And then this may go 1 through 13. Now, let's save this and go to layer ones, because I believe I saved all the layer ones for you on this one, right? And it's really important, I believe, to know where things are tactically. This is a rare era where short-term levels can provide long-term trading signals. So this is a 4-hour chart of near, right? Here's the 13 bottom and no bottom. And you think it's going to stabilize, but up here you see the 4. That means you could see the 5 wave. So that may mean a move to this support point at $4.18. So we've got someone asking about Solana. Okay. So unfortunately in Solana, the recent high was a 13 top. Okay. And if Solana can't get back above 49 or 49.32, then it becomes hard to find support. All right, it could be 33. I mean, this moving average band that I generated, okay, using DeMark and Gann numbers. I mean, Solana hit it once, and Solana almost hit it over here. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully everybody was just panicking, and you got a couple days to figure it out, right? Avalanche. Okay, same type of deal where the 13 bottom doesn't give you a bottom. Remember I talked about oversold markets being scary, especially if they stay oversold? This is the same type of situation, right? Avalanche gives you the 13 bottom, it dips, and then it comes back, but it just fails, right? Because if you look at this, now you might be asking yourself, okay, does this mean I have to sell? Does this mean I have to protect myself? Well, that's between you, your higher power, and say your accountant. Okay, because if Avalanche went to 21, would you be upset? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Now, Elron, okay, this is a little bit better situation. So Elron's got a 13 bottom and is trying to go green. Okay, so it is interesting that Elron is holding up, and I've got Step in here as well. Okay, this looks like a 13 bottom that didn't work, and there's going to be 5 more. Like, you probably have 1 or 2 days left. And then I also put in rows in the layer one sheet. Okay, 13 bottom doesn't work. It doesn't work. It worked here for the bounce. But here, the market just ignored it and kept going. Okay. Now, someone was asking about Matic. Okay. So I can put in Matic and check that out. Okay. So again, these big red candles, it's panic hedging. It's panic hedging. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, somebody was asking for Aave. So let's do Aave over here. Okay, so let's do some short-term work in Aave. So everything was okay in Aave until it wasn't. All right, so here's how I would trade Aave. This is where short-term levels help you. Okay. So with Aave, it's flirting with 87. So what you're seeing is you're seeing the market do sell what you can. You're seeing it at a granular level when you look at intraday charts, right? Intraday charts are going to let you know, right, where or if panic hedging and panic selling actually breaks the market. So guess what? If panic selling doesn't break the market, that means somebody down there is willing to buy. That's obviously a good thing, right? So for all of that talk about what could happen, right? I don't want to be the FUD master. I want to be the chart master to help you. So if 87 holds up in Aave, everything is okay. And if it doesn't, all right, now let's just go to equities quick. Okay, so a similar structure on the 89-minute chart of stocks, right? So stocks tried to go up and they failed. Right now, stocks are at 38.31. That's S&P futures. And the downside target that I have is 36.44. So how far down is that? Okay, that's about 5%. So let me ask you this. If you're in stocks, are you going home long? When the Memorial Day weekend comes up, there's a saying, don't go long into a long weekend. Are you going to wait until then, or are you going to sell now? I get the suspicion somebody in equities is selling now, whether that's the right thing to do or not. Somebody is unloading and selling what they can, because this price action came out of nowhere, and so did this. What's up with that? Okay, Phantom. Okay, let's try to draw some tactical levels here to see what we got going on. Okay, obviously this has been destroyed, right? And maybe it's too destroyed. So let's see what we can draw that you can use as a reference point over the weekend. Okay, so in Phantom, it's 33 cents. Tactical levels matter now. Short-term levels, which, I can look at for you, or, you can try them yourself with basic, just look to the left, support and resistance. So if 33 holds, Phantom may be okay. If 33 doesn't hold, okay, there is going to be problems. Okay, let's see what else we got going on in the chat. SRP, Driftless has got SQQQ in profit. Way to go, dude. That's a great trade. Okay, people are asking about Gala. Okay, let's take a look at Gala and see if we can get any. Let's try to look at the DeMark work. Let's go to like a daily chart. Fortunately, I think the metaverse comes in as one of these things where, the metaverse comes in as something that, you want to own, and it's going to get killed right before it becomes the most useful thing ever. Okay. So Gala Games, there's the 13 bottom. Okay. And a lot of times if you're going to get a real bottom, okay, you get a 13 and a 9 bottom. So this is a daily chart. So this could mean you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you may have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You may have 5 more down days. Now, I know that that's not what you want to hear, but that's what's on the daily chart for Gala. Okay, someone was asking about XRP. And normally when they ask about XRP, Cardano cannot be far behind. Okay, so here comes XRP weekly. Okay, so XRP has got support at 41 cents. So if you like XRP, I guess what I can tell you is you really want it to hold 41 cents. There's a lot of support there, and that's got to hold. Otherwise, you're looking at 2 more down weeks, right, where I can't really tell you where support would be. I can look at the daily chart. In other words, I believe we're at a point in markets where you got to start asking yourself, all right, it may not happen today, but what's the worst case scenario? Like, you need the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. So here we are in XRP. Here's our 9 bottom. Yay. Here's our 13 bottom. Yay. And it gets to a moving average and it gets sold. Right? So, and there could be 6 more down days. So with XRP, again, if you love it and you want to hold it, you may have to tolerate something awful if something bad happens over Memorial Day. Now, you can still like XRP. You can still like Cardano, right? But the question you want to ask yourself is, how much money do I want to lose? And you want to ask yourself, am I still going to be interested in crypto if this continues after Memorial Day? In other words, there's financially wrecked and psychologically wrecked. I do what I do on this channel, right? So people don't get psychologically wrecked. When me and Ian started out on the Sunday live stream, we called it crypto therapy. People would actually call in and ask questions. Okay, so in Cardano, you have a 13 bottom that's not working, right? If you look at a weekly chart, you won't want to look at the weekly chart because, you know, the support level is 0.49. So that's the point that's absolutely, positively got to hold. That's all I can tell you. Because if it doesn't, I'm not even going to say it. I can't, right? Litecoin. Ironically, Litecoin doesn't trade terrible. That's somewhat amusing. However, when Litecoin historically has outperformed, that's been the end of the market. That's not so amusing. Okay. But Litecoin is holding 66. It would be nice if something in cryptocurrency actually held, because with all the things that are going on in the world, there is a need for cryptocurrency. It's just that we're in this strange place where, because of Luna, because of geopolitical events, big portfolio managers may be in don't sell what you want to, or don't sell what don't sell what you want, or don't not sell what you want, sell what you can. And this is a good thing to point out to people. Don't assume that whatever exchange you're going to use works. Make sure you have more than one exchange, right? Because if one goes down, you want to have the other. I would move whatever you have to move. If you're hodling, then move it. Not investment advice, but don't keep it on an exchange. Because if things get stupid next week, probably, then that's when the danger zone comes. Hopefully today, it comes back. It gives you a green day to adjust risk. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, KDA. Okay, let's do KDA. Okay, so what's going on in KDA? Well, all right, the good news is that, I don't know, let's call it 245, seems to be acting as support. So in KDA, if 245 acts as support, this actually will be good over the weekend, right? If it's still acting as support, then maybe KDA is trying to make a bottom, or at least not going to go down until later. Okay, let's try something else. Okay, now if KDA is below 245, it's got a problem. And if KDA is below 211, then it's got a lot of downside. Let's put it that way. Okay, so you want to see 245 in KDA hold. Okay, why am I using 89-minute chart, asks Roy. 89 minutes is like 89 is a Gann number. The guy who taught me charts or gave me my first chart book, he uses 89 minutes. So in a salute to him, okay, I use 89 minutes. Okay, someone's asking about AXS. Okay, this is like, I have a tough time charting it because it's just in this like completely sideways range. Okay, let's try to bring it up here on DeMark. Okay, this is the 4-hour chart. All right, so there's a chance of another bounce here. So that's pretty good. It's not really doing anything, but sometimes that can be scary in crypto. All right, now, again, you have a 13 signal, a couple of them, a 9 signal, no bounce. No bounce in AXS. No bounce, right? Support is at 1842. What else we got out there? Let's see. We have Maker, the strongest in this bear market. Okay. And then we got Vulcan. Ocean. Okay. Let's try. Oh, yeah. And don't forget VRA for our loyal VRA fans out there. Okay, so let's check VRA over here to kind of a roadmap. All right, let's check VRA. So same thing, 13 and a 9 bottom, not going up. Okay, may not be as useful. Okay, one thing I will tell you about technical analysis is that you can't use the same method all the time. You got to be able to use multiple methods, and that includes token metrics. Okay, I need all of them in this situation. So in VRA, it's like practically 0.008. Okay. And if it can't get above 0.008, then it's going to 0.00645. Okay. So you're praying for some kind of rally here, some sort of recovery over the weekend that takes it back up. Okay. Vulcan. I think we're gonna stick with this because I don't think there's any point in telling you that, you know, the 13 and the 9 bottoms in DeMark are not working. I think that's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like no shit, honestly. Okay, so in Vulcan, the key level is 475. All right. Vulcan's back above 475. It's okay. Just notice what happened when this thing tried to poke its head through there, right? This is... Don't worry. You did it. I did it. Right? We're all going to be fine. Everything's okay. You know, day off, whatever. Market is just like scary men. Okay. 475, and then you've got 363 on the downside, which is where it was before. So quite possibly, like I said, we look at these panic selling moves. Okay, this is Vulcan. Let me just label this for the video. Okay, we're looking at 89 minutes. So one thing you're going to need to get used to, and this is like an important lesson, you're going to get used to seeing these sudden red candles followed by these like green bumps up, right? So this is the new style, right? In other words, everyone panics and then it can bounce. This was a big bounce. And then everyone panics and then there's a bounce. So whoever is making these red candles is panicking or is being forced to sell, right? Now, other YouTube channels, especially after what happened with Luna, they're like, well, the market's manipulated. There are scary men out there. Okay. Well, I mean, that was a big hedge fund doing a trade against something that, you know, it was known how it worked. Our analysts knew how it worked. And we actually had a 7-minute video segment where we said, if this thing blows up, here's how it's going to happen. So Luna was a vulnerability and a big hedge fund did the trade. Now, a lot of people lost money and that was unfortunate, right? Now, where you have to be really careful is if there's some problem out there that we can't see. You know, Luna was like, oh my God, there's a problem, and it went to zero, right? Now, after that, something else is going on. And that's why you get these huge flushes out of nowhere and then these bounces because they do what they have to do and then they're gone, right? Monero is actually green on the day. So, you know, somebody in the world must be worried because Monero is actually on an uptrend. That's interesting, right? Let me take a minute to look at Token Metrics to see if any of our indices are actually picking up Monero. Because what we have is we have different indices that pick up, you know, things that you can hold, right? Okay. Technical difficulties on that. Let's try one more time. Okay, let me come back to that. Let's see what else we're looking at in the chat here. 50% haircut on Tether. Okay. XRP Shillbilly says, I've heard Tether FUD longer than y'all have had crypto. Okay. Yes. I know Tether FUD is out there. I also know a really smart guy who just said, I'm getting all the Tether out of my book. So I understand Tether FUD is as old as the hill. I get it. Okay. That's not a reason to blow it off. That's not a reason to blow it off. Okay, DeFi chain. All right, we're looking for support now. How do we find support in DeFi chain? Not like that. Okay, so if you're in DeFi chain, the good news is there's support at $2.50, 2.569. This clearly looks like some sort of give up trade. So again, you know, I went through this whole thing about, and if you stuck around, right, thank you for sticking around. But this is why short-term levels will matter. If you're in this, okay, and 256 holds, you're fine. If it doesn't, the market is telling you that it's breaking, Okay, near protocol. Okay, let's take a look at near on a tactical level. So at a tactical level, near on this 89-minute chart, right? The primary support is at 575. And they are barely holding on. Barely. So if 579 doesn't act as support, or 575, okay, you'd have to be careful about a break of 555. Right? Because in a bad scenario, that would lead to 480. Now, I know these levels are not very pleasant, but they are good over the weekend, and they will still be good on Monday. So near above 575, okay. Near below 555, not okay. Not okay. All right. So let's just look at, stocks are trying to recover. Okay. So the big question is what's going to happen in a half hour there, right? Let's look at Bitcoin over the same time frame. So somebody unloaded on it, and now it's trying to come back. Not exactly impressive. ETH hanging around at 1947, right? We don't want ETH hanging around that scary Gann level, right? 1952, and ETH is resistance using the hidden pivot method. If ETH hits 1952 and is down tomorrow or this weekend, you're going to have Gann confirmation of a big problem in this market. Okay, so Hamza is saying short ETH. All right, so let's talk about that. You would be short ETH, right, for two reasons. One, because you got to hedge NFTs. Okay. Two, if you're trying to make a quick buck, you've either got to try it now at 1950 or after the U.S. Memorial Day holiday. It's always better to try to sell it on any green candle rather than short it in the hole. Remember, everyone in bear markets loses money, right? Bulls obviously lose, and bears are frequently getting short after the market has gone down, right? And it's brutal to try to get back in because look at this, right? I mean, everything was fine May 20th when I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, this is fine. I don't have to, this is not going to blow up. Right. Okay. So if you're going to get short when it's green. If it's above 1952 or it's above 1950 or holding at 1950, then I don't think there's a rush, right? I think if it goes green and hits 1950 and can't go, then that's where you put the trade on. That's where you put the trade on. If you have NFTs that you have to protect, that's where you would do it. Okay. Dave C says, don't short support. I agree. Right? Don't short support. Okay. Someone's asking about flow, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. So tough to use the 89-minute chart on flow. Tough to use the 4-hour chart on flow because nothing's happening. Let's try to get some DeMark work over here. Okay, so on the 4-hour, there's the 13 bottom that didn't work, and there's flow getting slammed at moving average resistance. I think you have to be careful of this going to 235 in a worst case scenario. Okay. All right, folks, so let's sum up what we know. There's something out there and there ain't no man. It ain't no man. I'm sorry, let me say that again. There's something out there and it ain't no man from the movie Predator. That means there's an invisible monster out there that we don't know about. And that's why you get these huge flushes down in equities and Bitcoin out of nowhere. These markets are not healthy for highly speculative investments, right? If people panic and institutions unload, whether that's today, Sunday, a week from now, or at consensus in June, The time to get ready is right. Readiness is not FUD, right? The other line from Predator, get to the chopper, right? Get to a level in your portfolio where you protect yourself. Don't be like, okay, Bill, this is nice, but should I sell? Okay, what you should do is organize your portfolio, assuming there's going to be a problem. And if there's no problem, you can just get back in. But the most important thing is that your sanity is in check, your sanity is intact. So when that crypto is on a 90% off sale, you can participate. Not to mention, you can just be a happy, you can experience less stress in your life, right? Views have gone way up. We want to welcome all of our new people because I want you to be protected, right? I could probably be more popular if I did or said certain things, but what I want to do is protect you. And that includes the entire Token Metrics research team. Token Metrics can help you. It's like insurance. No one thinks about their insurance for their car until they have a problem with their car. Token Metrics got you out of Luna, right, at 80. So remember that, and remember to subscribe to the channel, okay? I will be here on Monday. We'll see you then.